Well, what's up, Wesley? It's good to see everybody out there. I know I can see through these camera lenses. I can see you. I know every single person who's out there. What's up? My name's Ryan Abel. I'm one of the worship leaders here.
Hi, I'm Emily Ann. I'm also one of the worship leaders here.
Yeah, that's right.
We are so excited to be here. I've had 2 cups of coffee. I am amped up. We called each other so that we matched.
We completely matched up. Will McCraney's going to love this shirt.
But we also want to send a little shout out to all first-time viewers out there. I'm getting my script out because I don't want to miss anything.
It's all good. We can't miss anything.
We recognize that during this crazy time and current situation, there's probably a lot of new faces out there watching. Obviously, we don't know that you're out there, but we have a feeling there's some new faces. So if you are new, we would love to connect with you. To connect, please email Eve Mooney at eve@wesleyumc.net, and she will get to you as soon as possible. Again, we would just love to connect with you, send you more information, and when this is all over, we want you to come. We want you to be here and experience Wesley in person.
No doubt, no doubt. Also, you might be wondering, who is Wesley? What is Wesley? What's going on? Well, Wesley United Methodist Church is a beautiful Methodist church out here on 825 North Bel Air Road for our Bel Air campus, and we meet at Greenbrier Elementary for our West Campus. We are one church at 2 locations for Modern. And then want to just tell you a little bit about our mission. Our purpose is we exist to connect people to their purpose by becoming disciples of Jesus together. That's what we're all about here. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in being a part of, then again, reach out, type in something on the comments down there below, and get involved in the chat. We would love to reach out and talk to you guys in any way that you would want to connect with us.
Yeah, and just to reiterate what Ryan said, togetherness is such a big part of worship, and the good thing about Instagram or Facebook Live and YouTube Live, which is where you're watching today,
whoop, whoop,
you can connect with us. We have somebody monitoring the chat, so please comment. If we say something silly, we want to hear your reaction. If you have a prayer request, we want to hear what it is. Just feel free to go crazy in the comments, and we're going to respond.
No doubt, we will. And speaking of being connected, we have an opportunity right now. Cammie DeRozier, our Wesley Kids director, has created a video for all the kids out there. So if you've got kids with you, gather them up, make sure they're paying attention, and let them check out this quick little video.
Hey Wesley family, we are so glad that you are joining us for worship this morning. Last week we celebrated Easter and it was awesome. But guess what? That's not the end of the story. After God raised Jesus from the dead, he showed up to people over and over and over again. And every time it was a surprise. Jesus completely squashed death and turned everything upside down in the very best way. Have you ever heard something that just sounded too good to be true and you had to see it for yourself? That's exactly how Jesus' friends felt when they saw him after Easter. Preschoolers, this week, you have an awesome story about Jesus showing up to his friends on the beach and having breakfast with them. Jesus is alive and he wants to be your best friend forever. Elementary kids, you have an amazing story too. This month, we are learning about humility, which is just a fancy way of saying that we're putting other people first. Jesus loves you so much that he put you first and made a way for you to have a relationship with God forever. So what are some ways that you can put other people first this week? Parents, after church this morning, be sure to check your email and check our Wesley Kids social media pages for all of our kids' activities. We miss you and we would love to see how you are worshiping together. So whether you're joining us this morning for Sunday worship or watching our Bible story videos later in the week, snap a picture of you and your family, tag us on social media because we want to see your faces. And speaking of faces, we would love to see your kids on Zoom this Wednesday night for our weekly Zoom meeting. This is a great opportunity for our kids to connect with their friends, to worship, to play games, and to learn about the Bible together. You can also join us every day on our Wesley Kids Facebook page for an after-school devotional. We love you, and we hope that you enjoy this morning's worship. Bye, friends.
All right. Thank you so much, Cammie.
You the best, Cammie.
Yes, for all that you continuously do for our kids.
We want to throw some shout outs real quick. Some
Okay,
people that we
let's
saw
go.
down here watching. I got
Who's
Mary
watching?
Mary Lewis Black. What's up? Hope you're having a great morning this morning. I got Matt Griffin checking in. What's up, man? Also, let's see, Sean Prouty, the Prouties, Coco and Price. I'm sure they're in there. I got a friend of mine from high school, Ivy Byers. What's up, Ivy Byers? Carol, hope you're doing good.
Oh, this is so cool.
Linda Motto, I'm sure Nikki's in there with you and your kid Asher. Ashley Willis, what up? Hey, friend. And the ever faithful there, Kimberly Grubbs kicking it. And, of course, Eve's in there. So want to say hey to you guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for joining. Share this video. Get it out there. Let's make sure that everybody's feeling what we got going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we know there are more people on YouTube as well. We'll shout out to you guys in just a minute. We do want to talk about giving. If you are looking for a way to give, our mission is still going strong, and there are several ways to give. You can give online, you can give through text, and you can also give through the app or email. If you want to give online, the website is wesleyumc.net/give. wesleyumc.net/give. And then there is a Wesley app, which I believe you can use the give button in the toolbar to give.
True.
And then if you want to do it through text, which to me text is like the simplest way to do this, text Wesley Church to 77977.
Oh, and also if you're old school like I am, you can just mail a check, 825 North Bel Air Road, Evans, Georgia, 30809. One time. Hey, let's have a little fun this morning.
Okay,
How about that?
I'm
All right.
ready.
So big shout out to our friend Miss Amanda Reddick and our fellow worship leader who created these. We're going to play a game called Questions from a Hat. So
I'm nervous.
bam, I have a hat. Don't judge my hair. All right. So this is pretty simple.
How does it work?
We haven't seen these questions before. We have no idea what they are, and I'm going to ask Emily Ann a question, and then she's going to answer it again. She's never seen these questions before, neither have I.
I'm
and
nervous.
then she'll turn around and ask me a question. But the big thing is we want you to answer the question your own way in the chat this morning. So here we go. Yeah, I'm going to grab you one. Let's
Hope I
see
get
here.
something good and easy. I'm nervous.
Here we go. What is your go-to comfort food? That's solid. That's solid.
This is easy. Homemade macaroni and cheese. I don't want Velveeta.
Right.
I don't want Kraft.
Right.
I want the pasta to be boiled.
Okay.
The cheese, the eggs, the whole process.
Yeah, the macaroni pie. That's what I'm about.
It needs to bake
Right.
in the oven.
Yeah, no doubt.
So 100%. Also, thank you, Amanda, for putting that in there. Now I'm hungry.
Now, right. And
I'm
here
hungry.
goes my question. I'm
Okay.
sure mine will be much more difficult because that's just how my life
This
is.
is a long question.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay, ready?
I'm ready.
What popular TV show or movie do you refuse to watch and why?
Tiger King, because I'm not that.
Why?
Because I'm not about that life. I'm not going to watch it.
Just
Also,
because
Honey Boo
everybody's
Boo.
watching it?
Well, that plays into it a little bit, but I man, what a clown that guy is. From little I know.
It's okay. I got like 4 episodes in, and I was like, I've seen enough.
I can't do it.
I've seen enough.
Just off the previews, I couldn't do it.
That's amazing.
All right, let's.
Okay, I think we need to get serious for 1 second here.
From Tiger King to serious,
Yeah,
I love
'cause
it.
That was enough.
That's enough. I agree.
Okay, I want to know, and we do want your feedback to this question.
Yeah,
So,
throw your answers.
Ryan, what is your favorite Wesley memory or experience?
Who, my favorite Wesley memory or experience? Well, favorite would be a weird word, but my most beloved, I guess. One of the main reasons that I fell in love with Wesley was it's a beautiful ability to love people where they are and to be incredibly welcoming. And the worship team, I've been here for 6 years. About 2 years ago, we went through a terrible situation where we lost one of our members to suicide. And this church was amazing. This church rallied around our band in ways that I can't even begin to explain, helping us with little things like watching our kids so that we could go to the funeral or visitation, bringing us food, checking on us on Sunday mornings, doing a lot of those things to make sure that we were okay. And I'll never forget, he passed away on a Thursday, and we actually led worship that Sunday morning.
Yeah,
and it was incredibly difficult, but this church was so loving and so welcoming, and that's something I'll never forget. And Wesley will always be a place in my heart, and I love this church. I love this church, and you could be a part of what we got going on here.
That's so great.
Yeah,
what an awesome time.
It was a tough time, but it was an awesome way that God showed through that tough time.
Right.
So not to be outdone. Okay, one serious question begets another, I think.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Wesley moment?
So you already said that you were going to be mad if it didn't involve you, and
that is true, but that was a private conversation.
but it doesn't involve you.
Fine.
I've had great memories at Wesley with you, Ryan, but this one is unrelated. So about 2 years ago, I just kind of started volunteering here at Wesley, and Aaron convinced me to go on the fall retreat with the Wesley students. And I was kind of hesitant because that weekend was my birthday, and I was kind of, I wanted to hang out and do what I wanted to do that weekend, but I ended up going on the retreat. And the night before my birthday, all of a sudden, everybody from Wesley had just kind of disappeared, and I was concerned because I didn't know where my group is, and some of my girls were in the bathroom, and they were upset, and little did I know they were faking being upset so that everybody could get back to the main house and turn off the lights, and they had a big cake, and when I came in, they had surprised me. They had thrown me a birthday party, and I didn't even know about it, and it was just the coolest moment with all the middle schoolers and high schoolers and volunteers.
That's awesome.
They had thought of me, and it was just a great.
You should feel
memory.
great about that, because I've been at this church for 6 years and not one time have I gotten a birthday cake.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, it's because my birthday's always so near Mother's Day.
I shouldn't have brought it
Mother's Day, my birthday is May 11th.
It's almost your birthday.
Yeah, coming up, not too long, not too
May
long.
11th, that's my dad's birthday.
Well, me and your dad are both kindred awesome spirits.
I love that.
Don't do that. Social distancing is important. But anyways, so let's wrap this thing. Hey, before we forget though, Wesley, we want you to comment in the comments below your stories. We want to hear them. We want to know about them. And I know that there's great moments that have happened in your life through this church and what God's doing here. But we thought it would be fun to end this on a high note. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
Both Emily Ann and I are both worship leaders, but we're also singers in rock and roll bands and other things like that. So we sing secular music and we sing worship music, and we love both. So we thought it would be fun for us to get a stack of letters of song lyrics, again, put together by the beautiful, the talented Amanda Reddick. Thank you so much. And she's going to try and stump us. And it's a song lyric out of context, and we have to try and guess if it was a worship song or a love song. We've never seen these before, and we're probably guaranteed to be terrible. But here we go.
I'm nervous. I feel like this is going to be hard.
The first one. But nothing's greater than the rush that comes with your embrace.
Okay, that's really hard. Is it a worship song?
I'm thinking love song.
You are?
I am.
I'm thinking worship song.
I'm thinking love song. Do we have a final guess?
Okay, I'm saying worship song.
I'm going love song. Let's see who's got the lead.
Okay.
It is.
Oh my gosh, the suspense.
It is a love song.
Oh my gosh, it's Bleeding
Love by Leona Lewis.
Yeah, I know that song.
Okay, all right.
Wow,
So,
good job, Ryan.
Big R's up, 1-0. I'm home when I am here with you. Uh-oh. All right.
I think it's a love song.
I think it's a worship song.
Are you serious? Are we going to go back and forth this
I
whole
don't know.
time?
This is what I got. I'm going
if you
going
get
worship.
This right, I'm
going worship
kind of
song. You have love song?
I'm saying love song.
All right, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
It is a worship song. That's what I'm talking about. Deep in Love with You by the beautiful Michael W. Smith. That's an old school right there.
Oh my gosh, Amanda, you really stumped us.
Us?
Me,
yeah. Okay, thank you.
You stumped me.
All right. Here we go. I live for you alone.
That is generic. I feel like that could be. That is in every song. Okay, I'm saying worship song.
I'm going to say both because I think that's in a lot of songs.
That
But
is,
I have to
yeah.
say one or the other. I'm going to go with, which one did you go with? Worship?
Yes.
I'm going to go with worship too.
Okay.
I'm going to go with worship too, although I think it's probably a love song. Oh, it's
Yes.
worship song. I give you my
Right.
heart by Hillsong Worship. I give you my heart by Hillsong Worship. Oh man, so I'm undefeated still. I'm 3-0.
You're doing a great job.
All right, without you, I fall apart.
Oh, a love song.
I think that's a love
That's
song.
a
for
love
sure.
song.
I'm feeling good about that being a love
Let's
song.
do it. Let's do it.
Let's see. Oh no, it's a worship song.
Are you serious?
It's a worship song. It's called "Lord, I Need You," performed by Matt Mayer.
Matt
guess.
Mayer. I don't know that
Matt
song.
Mayer. I don't know that song either. I remember his name, but maybe that's like an old school Passion Cat. Maybe.
Maybe it sounds
not
like
sure.
it. I don't know.
All right.
Amanda. All right.
Amanda, unbelievable. All right, here we go. This is the last
one.
Last one. All right, take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Number one, that's terrible poetry.
That's something I would write,
That's-
which means that it's terrible.
I'm gonna go love song because I don't want to believe that that's a worship song.
I'm also gonna say love song.
All right, here we go. It is indeed a love song.
Oh, and we just insulted one of the greatest love songs of all time.
Well, the good news is that Elvis Presley doesn't write music, so he didn't write this song, but he did sing it. It's called "Love Me Tender." So for all the boomers out there, we love you. And I get called a boomer all the time. My buddy Kenny Morrison's going to be really upset that I just dissed
He's going to be
Elvis.
very mad.
Hey, thank you guys so much for being with us this morning. We're excited about worship. We're not going to kick into our worship service. We love you guys. We can't wait to see you guys again. Please stay safe. And now we're going to throw it to our good friends, David and Jessica Blackwood.
Hey Wesley Church, Pastor David, I'm here with my family. I am so glad that you have joined our online worship experience. We're here in our home getting ready to watch this with you. So go ahead, get the family together, put it up on the TV, and join in for this worship experience.
Yeah, drop a comment below and let us know that you're here. If you have a prayer request, we want to invite you to send us a DM, or you can even drop it in the comment section. We want to be praying for you. We know that this is crazy times and that you're probably a lot like us, still trying to figure out what this new time looks like. So we invite you to take a deep breath, relax, and let's worship together.
Well, hello. Now, we're here to sing some songs with you. We're here to worship. We're here to encourage you, and hopefully you will join in. During this Easter season, during this Lent season, this is a song that's always meant so much to me. It's by John Mark McMillan. It's called Death in His Grave. I hope you'll enjoy it. Though the earth cried out for blood, satisfied her hunger was. Billows calmed on raging seas, for the souls of men she craved. Sun and moon from balcony turned their head in disbelief. Precious love would taste the sting, disfigured and disdained. On Friday a thief, on Sunday a king. Laid down in grief, but awoke with the keys of hell on that day. Firstborn of the slain, the man Jesus Christ laid death in his grave. Oh, 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 oh. So 3 days in darkness slept the morning sun of righteousness, rose to shame the throes of death that overturned his rule. The daughters and the sons of men would pay not their dues again. The debt of blood they owed was rent when the day rode anew. On Friday a thief, on Sunday a king. He laid down in grief, but awoke with the keys of hell on that day. The firstborn of the slain, the man Jesus Christ laid death in his grave. Oh, 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 I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Come on, sing with us. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, no, 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 no. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Come on, sing that with us. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No, 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 no. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Sing, there's no shadow. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No, 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 no. There's no wall
Ryan, I think I speak for everybody when I say that the best part of your version of Reckless Love is when you go, oh, no, 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 no. I think it's so great.
I would love to say that was original, but it's not. Corey did that on the original live version, but that's not important.
I know, but in all seriousness, I'm looking at the YouTube feed right now, and I just want to highlight some people who are watching. We are so glad that you're here. Darren Shire, Charles Cadle, Mark Haddon, Robin Wilson, Casey Munn, Sherry Newman. I mean, the names just keep going. Travis Young.
Awesome.
The Young family.
What's up, Travis?
I know. Sam Akers. Thanks, Sam, for fixing my microphone issue. calling that out. Because I do want to be heard today.
Amen. Well, I want to throw some love. I see Shug and Rebecca over there in Edgefield County are throwing some love. She's the worship leader at our West Campus. So glad that she was able to join us. Will McCraney did a lot of work this week behind the scenes. And also, I'm praying for Miss Deborah and Ruben Chance. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm excited about seeing you guys again so I can hug you and give you some loving. I want to throw out a real quick thing. Want to talk about some other ways that you can connect with Wesley over the next week. Of course, we have Greg's Daily Devotionals every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock. It's on our Wesley West page, our Wesley page, and on our YouTube page. So you can catch Greg every workday from 12 o'clock on any of those three mediums or mediums.
Yeah.
Also, really, really, really excited. Students, get pumped. Tonight, 6 p.m., okay, we're launching a brand new sermon series. Aaron and Ellen, they've come up with a great idea. It's called Homeward Bound. And here's a quick little promo to whet your appetite.
That was awesome.
Hey, I'm
excited.
What? Jinx! What? Oh, somebody's going to owe me a Coke. Hey, look, we're really excited about the ministry that Aaron and Ellen got going on for our students. We're pumped. Please join in. If you're a youth out there or a student, sorry, Aaron's about to throw something at me, please make sure you log on and check that out. It's going to be really excited, and it's a cool new way to reach out to your friends, too.
Yeah, but I think now is the time for you to get a refill of your cup of coffee or whatever you're drinking and get settled because it's time for the sermon.
That's right.
Today we have Scott Harris, our associate pastor, who's bringing the word.
Enjoy.
Good morning, Wesley. I'd like to introduce you to my nemesis this week. Like many of you, I am sheltering in place, and I'm discovering new things to do, probably out of boredom or out of going stir crazy. And this here is something that I've had to use. I'm not afraid of manual labor, but I decided I'm going to mow and aerate my lawn, and read and watched YouTube videos, becoming a YouTube engineer, that I would have to dethatch my lawn. And so about 8 hours later, my front and backyard, doing this by hand, and yes, I realized there was a manual tool, I started to doubt myself. I started to doubt whether it was worth saving the $50 that Fairway Lawns would charge me to do it. And I started to doubt whether this was worth the job. Even 30,000 steps later, my activity was great, but this was a exercise that I would rather not do again in the future. Now, this morning we're talking about doubt, and we're talking about a particular disciple who encountered Jesus not long after Jesus rose from the dead. And I think doubt is especially a great topic for us today, because there are so many of us who are doubting a lot. We're doubting whether this whole coronavirus mess is going to come to an end. We're doubting whether we're going to be able to make ends meet. We're doubting whether we're going to be able to survive in our own house without having to call someone having to call the police because our children might be in jeopardy, or our spouse might be in jeopardy because we've never had to live in close quarters or be forced to anyway. And so we're all just having a little bit of doubt and a little bit of anxiety perhaps. And so there's something in the scripture that speaks to us today that I think would be very helpful. There's a disciple who's earned kind of a reputation for being a doubter. I am myself a doubter. I tend to like doubting Thomas, but I think he also gets a bad rep, and we'll see that here in a second. But in the book of John mentions how the disciples have encountered Jesus, and yet Thomas is not there. Thomas is not there to meet them. And so later on in the 20th chapter, it says this about Thomas. Thomas, the one called Didymus, one of the 12, wasn't with the disciples when Jesus came. The other disciples told him, "We've seen the Lord." But Thomas replied, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, put my finger in the wounds left by the nails, and put my hands into his side, I'm not going to believe." And after 8 days, his disciples were again in a house, and Thomas was with them. Even though the doors, now this is 8 days, he's had to hear about how the disciples saw Jesus and he wasn't there, you missed it, and now he is having to hear this for over a week. And even though the doors were locked, it says, Jesus entered and stood among them. And this is, I think, what's so great about Jesus' first words. In fact, he repeats this phrase a number of times within this chapter, but he says this: "Peace be with you." This peace, this shalom, this idea of God's eternal rest, comforting our anxiety, the unknown future of what may happen or what may not happen, and we wrap our minds and run around in circles trying to figure out what might be going on. And yet Jesus, in the storm of the disciples trying to figure out what their next steps were going to be, he comes and he says, "Peace be with you." Then he says to Thomas, "Put your finger here, look at my hands. Put your hand into my side. No more disbelief, believe." And Thomas responded to Jesus, "My Lord and my God." And Jesus replied, "Do you believe because you see me? Happy are those who don't see and yet believe." Then Jesus did many other miraculous signs in his disciples' presence, signs that aren't recorded in this scroll. But these things are written so that you will believe that Jesus is the Christ, God's Son, and that believing you will have life in his name. So Thomas has waited a very long time. Thomas wasn't there with the other disciples, and yet Thomas gets the bad reputation for being the doubter when he's the one that's had to wait a period of time hearing about what the disciples have said, yet not being able to see for himself. But Jesus issues this warning, like he wants us to believe not because we see, but because we know that he is the one who has come. He is the one who gives us peace. He is the one that gives us life that is real life. Now, here is just something that I would like to leave with you this morning. How do we overcome doubt? Maybe you are you're experiencing doubt. Maybe you're sure, you're assured, and everything is all good, and I celebrate that with you. I wish I could be in that boat. But there's something that's very important that I think we can glean from Thomas's example. He says, for many of us, when we doubt, we tend to run, or we tend to say, I'm not going to bother thinking about this, or I'm going to walk the other way, or I'm going to tune the radio out, or I'm going to shut my Bible. I'm not going to pay attention. And what's interesting to me is that even though Thomas had his doubts, even though he had his questions, he remained in the room. And had he not remained in the room, had he had left, had he had said, I don't believe you guys, and I'm about to go on with the next phase of my life, he stood with his brothers. And he stayed consistently until Jesus appeared on that 8th day and revealed to him something that he had not seen before. The same Jesus who had died, the scars on his hands that he had seen for himself. But what's more important is not just the seeing of what happened to Jesus, but it's seeing what Jesus is able to offer in times just like this, when we are in need of that eternal shalom, that eternal peace to engulf us, to comfort us, so that we might know, and we might have this quiet assurance, this confidence that we are in good hands. And though we may not be able to predict the future, though we may not be able to understand all that's going on, though we may be frustrated, though we may want anything else but what's happening now, we have two things. We have the church, just like Thomas had his brothers in the upper room, and we have Jesus, who gives us the eternal peace, the eternal shalom that assures us even in the doubts. So as you go forward this week, no matter what doubts you face, I pray that you would just take a moment to embrace those doubts, to know that there's nothing to be ashamed of, but to be challenged to stay in the room, to stay in your faith, to stay in the Word of God, to stay in your prayers, to stay and stick with the challenges that life has. Because when we do, when we remain and rest in God's presence, we are given a peace and a life that surpasses all understanding, and one worthy of sharing to all those we encounter. Let me pray with you guys. God, thank you for today. Thank you for this brief period. I pray that anybody out there who is struggling, who is experiencing doubt, who is experiencing anxiety, who is in need of your peace, that God, they would receive that they would be encouraged to stay in the room, to be in your presence, to rest, even when they don't understand, to just be still and somehow come to know that you are God. And God, may we, as your servants, as your disciples, continue to find ways, even though we are sheltered, even though we are apart, may we find ways to come together in community, to support one another, so that we can be the hands and feet of you, offering peace to one another as you have called us to love one another. It's in your holy name that we pray. Amen. Y'all have a great week this week, and I'll throw it back to Ryan and EA.
Oh, man. Hey, what a great message this morning from Scott, bringing it home about doubting Thomas, one of my favorite characters in the Bible and definitely my favorite disciple.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I relate to him or what it is, but such a great word about staying in the room and making sure that you're still engaged with what's going on.
Totally.
Hey, want to give some really quick shout outs here as we wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for joining in with us here. I want to share some love to Miss Tammy Cox Bordeaux, Nicole Munns. Also saw Jamie Alexander, Kim and Travis Drake. Thank you guys so much for joining in on Facebook this morning.
And on YouTube, we've got T Fox, Teresa Fox. Thanks always for tuning in. And Carly, Casey Munn, Bonnie Grossman. We're just so appreciative of you guys taking time out of your week to listen to a great sermon and to worship with us.
Absolutely. Hey, really quick, final reminders. Every day at noon, every workday, Greg's going to be on for daily devotionals at 12 o'clock on all three of our channels here, YouTube, Facebook, our Wesley page, and our Wesley West page. And then also we have students live tonight at 6 p.m. with Homeward Bound. Thank you guys so much for joining. What you got to say, EA?
Yeah, we just had a great time worshiping with you guys today. It felt like we were all together. And as you go throughout your week, just remember what Scott said, that Jesus is the one who brings us peace. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Later, y'all.